Welcome, chosen ones. Have you ever felt the weight of someone trying to control you, only to watch their attempts crumble before their very eyes? It's almost as if they're trying to trap a storm in a glass bottle or chain the ocean to the shore. No matter how much they push, scheme or manipulate, they always end up frustrated, confused, or even completely undone. Why? Because as one of God's chosen, you were never meant to be controlled. You are a force beyond human limitation, divinely guided, spiritually unshakable, and far beyond the reach of earthly manipulation. But here's where it gets really interesting. What happens when people refuse to accept this truth? When they try to bend you to their will, only to find themselves entangled in their own web? The results are nothing short of shocking, ironic, and at times, even comedic. Some grow obsessive, desperately trying to figure out why their usual tactics don't work on you. Others lash out in anger, fuming with frustration as they realize they have zero control over your destiny. And then there are those who, in their struggle to dominate you, end up on a deep spiritual journey of self-revelation, one they never saw coming. But here's the real question. Why do people feel such a deep, almost desperate urge to control you? What is it about your presence that shakes them to their core? Could it be that deep down they sense something in you that they cannot comprehend? Something powerful, untamed, and beyond their reach. Imagine someone trying to cage a lion, only to find that the lion is not only unbothered, but is calmly watching their every move, fully aware of its own power. That's the kind of dynamic we're about to uncover. Today, we're diving deep into 12 shocking ways people react when they try to control a chosen one, and fail spectacularly. Some will break down, some will scheme harder, and some will be left standing in awe, realizing they were never in control to begin with. If you're ready for this revelation, comment 777 below and declare that you stand firm in your divine calling. And to those of you who have blessed this channel through super thanks, I cannot express my gratitude enough. Your support fuels this mission, and I am deeply, deeply thankful for you. Now, get ready, because what you're about to hear may change the way you see the battles in your life forever. Let's begin. God's chosen ones. 12 shocking ways people react when they try to control you. Number 1. The silent resistance that feels deafening. Chosen ones possess a unique way of resisting control, one that doesn't rely on loud arguments or dramatic displays. Instead, their defiance is quiet, deliberate, and disarmingly powerful. Their silence speaks volumes, louder than any confrontation ever could. When someone attempts to manipulate or dominate them, chosen ones do not engage in explanations or justify their stance. They simply stand firm and refuse to comply. This steadfastness creates an almost tangible tension that leaves those trying to control them unsettled and searching for footing. Controllers are accustomed to resistance in the form of anger or open defiance, something they can counter or overpower. But when faced with the chosen one's quiet refusal, they encounter something far more disarming. The absence of reaction isn't weakness. It's an unshakable form of inner strength. This stillness serves as a mirror, reflecting the controller's need for dominance and exposing their insecurities. Instead of feeling powerful, they are left asking themselves unsettling questions. Why isn't this working? Why do I feel judged by their silence? This quiet resistance acts like an invisible shield, one that frustrates and confounds those who seek control. Manipulators, desperate for a reaction, find themselves grasping at straws, only to realize that their efforts are futile. Chosen ones have mastered the art of emotional neutrality. They remain unflinching and immovable, their silence creating a profound discomfort. It forces the controller to confront their own desperation and lack of true authority. The Bible reflects this kind of quiet strength in Proverbs 15:1. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. By staying calm and composed, chosen ones not only deflect the manipulator's tactics, but also reveal the emptiness of their power. How often do we underestimate the strength in stillness, the profound impact of saying nothing at all? What makes this silent resistance even more potent is its authenticity. Chosen ones aren't playing games or putting on an act. Their refusal to be controlled is rooted in a deeply ingrained sense of purpose and self-assurance. They follow an inner compass that doesn't seek validation or approval from others. To the one attempting to dominate them, this unyielding self-possession is maddening. Yet to the chosen one, it's simply a natural part of living in alignment with their God-given identity. This unshakable stance reminds us of Jesus' example during his trial before Pilate. In Matthew 27:14, it is written, "But Jesus made no reply, not even to a single charge, to the great amazement of the governor." His silence carried a power that words could not match, leaving his accusers bewildered. Could it be that the strength of the chosen ones lies in their ability to embody this same divine stillness? As you reflect on this, consider the power of quiet resistance in your own life. How often do you find yourself drawn into unnecessary battles? Could there be a greater strength in standing firm, saying nothing, and allowing your presence to speak for itself? Perhaps the next time someone attempts to control you, your silence will be the loudest statement of all. Number 2, unmasking manipulation with surgical precision. When someone tries to manipulate a chosen one, they unknowingly venture into dangerous territory. Chosen ones possess a rare gift, an almost supernatural ability to see through schemes and hidden agendas with precision, as if guided by divine insight. Yet, what makes this even more unnerving for the manipulator is the method by which their deception is exposed. There are no dramatic confrontations, no loud accusations. Instead, chosen ones dismantle manipulative tactics with quiet, calculated grace, leaving the manipulator standing amidst the ruins of their failed strategy. The effectiveness of this process is nothing short of extraordinary. Chosen ones don't need to call out manipulation directly. Their actions alone are enough to expose the cracks. When faced with guilt-tripping subtle power plays or emotional baiting, they respond with calm disinterest. This refusal to engage acts as a magnifying glass, illuminating every flaw in the manipulator's plan. The chosen one's lack of reaction becomes a mirror, reflecting the hollowness of the manipulative efforts and rendering them powerless. The Bible captures this principle of exposing deception in Proverbs 26:26. Their malice may be concealed by deception, but their wickedness will be exposed in the assembly. A chosen one's clarity operates in much the same way, shining light into the darkness and uncovering what was meant to stay hidden. How often do we underestimate the quiet power of discernment, mistaking it for passivity when it is, in fact, an unshakable force? What makes this experience deeply unsettling for manipulators is the sense of personal exposure it brings. They cannot hide behind charm, coercion, or authority, because the chosen one's spiritual clarity cuts through all facades. Manipulators find themselves caught in a space where no lie can stand, much like trying to cast a shadow under a blazing sun. It's impossible to conceal anything. This often leaves the manipulator not only exposed, but also embarrassed, scrambling to shift blame or salvage their plans. Consider how Jesus handled manipulation during his ministry. In Luke 20:20-26, when spies tried to trap him with a question about taxes, His response cut through their deceit with divine wisdom. He said, "Give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's." His calm and precise reply not only disarmed their trap, but left them amazed and unable to respond. Could it be that chosen ones today embody this same clarity and grace, dismantling manipulation with truth and wisdom? But here's the real twist. Chosen ones don't operate this way out of malice or a desire to humiliate. They have no interest in proving superiority or exposing others for the sake of pride. Instead, their innate truth-seeking nature simply cannot coexist with deceit. For them, manipulation is like static noise, disruptive and intolerable. Without hesitation, they filter it out, not as an act of defiance, but as a natural response to maintain their alignment with truth. This effortless rejection of manipulation leaves a lasting impact on the manipulator. They are left bewildered, questioning how their carefully crafted plans unraveled so completely and so quickly. As they reflect on their failure, a humbling realization dawns. They were never a match for the chosen one's unwavering discernment. The Bible reminds us of the fate of deceit in Job 5:12. He thwarts the plans of the crafty so that their hands achieve no success. Chosen ones, guided by their inner light, embody this truth. Their calm resistance is not an act of rebellion, but a testament to their unshakable connection to divine wisdom. Does this resonate with you? Have you witnessed how the quiet clarity of a chosen one can unravel even the most intricate web of deceit? Perhaps you too have felt this divine discernment at work in your life, exposing hidden motives and shielding you from manipulation. The next time someone tries to control you, remember, it's not about matching their tactics. It's about standing firm in truth, allowing your clarity to do the work. Isn't it amazing how effortlessly truth prevails? Number 3, controllers suddenly question their own reality. When someone attempts to control a chosen one, an unexpected and unsettling phenomenon often occurs. The controller begins questioning their own reality. It's as though the act of dominating someone so spiritually attuned triggers a profound sense of disorientation. Chosen ones operate on a frequency that those obsessed with control simply cannot grasp. Their confidence is not boisterous or domineering. It is calm, unyielding, and deeply rooted in something unseen but undeniably powerful. This quiet strength creates a psychological imbalance in the controller, leaving them perplexed as to why their usual tactics seem futile. Controllers rely heavily on predictable reactions: fear, submission, or compliance. Yet chosen ones defy these expectations. They respond with an energy that feels immovable, almost transcendent. It's not resistance in the conventional sense, but a serene and silent declaration: you have no power here. This quiet, yet resolute stance throws the controller off balance, forcing them to question not only their strategy, but their very understanding of authority. This dynamic mirrors the encounter between Jesus and Pontius Pilate in John 19:10-11. Pilate, frustrated by Jesus' silence, said, "Don't you realize I have power either to free you or to crucify you?" But Jesus calmly replied, "You would have no power over me if it were not given to you from above." Just as Jesus' calm truth unsettled Pilate, a chosen one's unwavering presence can disarm and unnerve those who seek to dominate them. The longer the controller persists, the deeper their doubt becomes. They begin projecting their insecurities onto the chosen one, wondering, why am I the one who feels out of control? The harder they push, the more they feel like they're losing their grip, as though the chosen one has effortlessly flipped the script. But this reversal isn't magic. It's the chosen one's authenticity and unwavering inner balance that disrupts the manipulator's attempts. This phenomenon highlights an important truth found in Proverbs 16:7. When the Lord takes pleasure in anyone's way, he causes their enemies to make peace with them. Chosen ones embody such divine alignment that their mere presence dismantles hostility and control. Their power lies not in aggression but in their steadfast adherence to truth, which makes any form of manipulation crumble. What's most fascinating is that chosen ones don't do this intentionally. Their resistance isn't premeditated or performative. They simply live in alignment with a truth that cannot be compromised or overridden. This natural authenticity creates an invisible barrier against control, leaving the controller feeling exposed and powerless. It's as if the very foundation beneath them has shifted, making them question not only their approach, but their own identity. Controllers often walk away from such encounters, questioning everything. How did my tactics fail? Why do I feel so out of balance? Who am I if I can't control this situation? They may even find themselves re-evaluating their relationships and their understanding of power itself. This raises an intriguing question. What is it about chosen ones that makes them so impervious to control? Perhaps the answer lies in their spiritual grounding. Their strength doesn't come from human effort, but from divine truth, making their authenticity a force that cannot be shaken. As controllers face this reality, they are confronted with the humbling realization that true power lies not in domination, but in integrity. Reflect on this. Have you ever noticed how simply staying true to yourself can unravel the plans of those who seek to control you? Could it be that the secret to standing against manipulation lies in embodying your God-given identity with unwavering peace? If so, imagine how much more powerful you can become by fully embracing this divine alignment. Number 4, the energy drain effect. Attempting to control a chosen one is not just a futile effort. It's an energy-draining ordeal that leaves the would-be controller utterly depleted. Chosen ones carry an energy that is not only emotionally resilient, but also spiritually protected, as if they're surrounded by an impenetrable, invisible shield. This protective barrier is not something they consciously project. It is a reflection of their alignment with divine truth and purpose. For those attempting manipulation or control, this energy feels impenetrable, repelling their efforts and quickly sapping their strength. Controllers often approach chosen ones with overconfidence, believing their usual tactics will be effective. They expect compliance, submission, or at least resistance they can overpower. Yet instead of gaining control, they find themselves inexplicably drained. The harder they push, the heavier the effort feels, like trying to move an immovable mountain. Every attempt rebounds, leaving them more fatigued and frustrated. This phenomenon is vividly captured in Isaiah 54:17. No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. The chosen one's energy, fortified by divine protection, ensures that no manipulative attempt can penetrate or prosper. Could it be that their spiritual alignment acts as a divine defense, turning every attack into wasted effort? The exhaustion experienced by the manipulator isn't merely physical or emotional, it's spiritual. Chosen ones operate on a higher frequency, one that resonates with love, truth, and divine purpose. Those who operate from lower vibrations, driven by fear, greed, or a desire to control, find themselves unable to sustain their usual games in the presence of such purity. The energy they expend trying to dominate the chosen one is like water poured into a sieve. It disappears without effect, leaving them hollow and bewildered. What's most striking is how effortless this is for the chosen one. They do not need to retaliate, argue, or even acknowledge the manipulative attempts. Their energy naturally protects itself, reflecting negativity, and causing the manipulator's efforts to collapse under their own weight. The Chosen One's unshakable connection to a higher power acts as both a shield and a mirror, exposing and draining the controller's lower vibrational tactics. This dynamic mirrors the promise in Psalm 91:4. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. The Chosen One's faithfulness to their purpose creates a refuge that no external force can penetrate. Could this divine fortification be the key to their strength and endurance in the face of manipulation? By the end of the encounter, the controller feels as though they've been running a marathon uphill, completely drained and yet nowhere closer to their goal. They are left questioning why their efforts were so ineffective and why the Chosen One remained untouched. This rude awakening often serves as a turning point, forcing them to confront their own motives and weaknesses. Have you ever felt the exhaustion that comes from trying to manipulate a situation beyond your control? Or have you witnessed how effortlessly Chosen Ones repel negativity without lifting a finger? Perhaps this is a call to reflect on the energy we bring into our interactions. For the Chosen Ones, the lesson is clear. You do not need to fight battles when your very presence carries divine protection. For controllers, the realization is humbling. There's no overcoming the light of someone deeply aligned with God's truth. Number 5. The instant disconnection. When someone tries to control a Chosen One, they quickly realize that the usual tools of guilt, fear, or dependency have no power. Chosen Ones possess an almost unsettling ability to sever ties instantly, without hesitation or regret. This isn't an act of cruelty, it's an act of clarity. They recognize control for what it truly is, an attempt to undermine their freedom and authenticity. The moment they sense manipulation creeping in, they act decisively, leaving the would-be controller completely stunned and grasping for understanding. For most, cutting ties is a slow and emotional process, fraught with second-guessing and tangled emotions. But not for Chosen Ones. They don't linger in toxic situations or wait for explanations or apologies. Their inner compass guides them with an unwavering decisiveness, and once they determine a connection threatens their peace or purpose, it's over. It's as if they have an internal switch, and when it's flipped, it stays off, permanently. This ability catches controllers entirely off guard, as they're accustomed to people clinging, pleading, or yielding to their tactics. The Bible speaks to this kind of clarity in Proverbs 4:23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Chosen Ones take this wisdom to heart. Their boundaries aren't just personal preferences, they're sacred commitments to protecting their spiritual well-being. Could this be the secret to why Chosen Ones are so unyielding in the face of manipulation? What makes this disconnection so shocking is its finality. Chosen Ones don't engage in mind games or leave doors open for future reconciliation. Their departure is quiet but absolute, and the silence they leave behind is deafening. For the controller, it feels like slamming into a brick wall. One moment they're carefully orchestrating their moves, and the next they're left alone, bewildered at how everything crumbled so swiftly. This decisiveness comes from the Chosen One's profound understanding of their worth. They are deeply aware that their energy is sacred and will not waste it on anyone who seeks to diminish it. Their unwavering sense of self aligns with the words of 1 Corinthians 15:33. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. Chosen Ones recognize that allowing manipulative influences into their lives would compromise their calling, and so they choose peace over persistence, clarity over conflict. For the controller, this detachment feels deeply personal, like a rejection of their power. They often react with shock or confusion, questioning how their seemingly well-crafted tactics failed so completely. But for the chosen one, the decision is simple. Their peace is non-negotiable, and anyone who threatens it is left behind without a second thought. Have you ever noticed how decisively a chosen one can walk away from a toxic relationship, even when others hesitate? This ability to detach isn't born out of indifference, but from a higher awareness of their divine purpose. How often do we sacrifice our peace for the sake of maintaining unhealthy connections, when instead we could follow the example of chosen ones and place our spiritual well-being above all else? For the chosen, this isn't about pride or proving a point. It's about staying aligned with their God-given purpose. They understand that allowing toxic energy into their lives is a distraction from their path. Their ability to walk away is a reminder that sometimes the most powerful act of resistance is simply refusing to engage. Could it be that this strength is what truly sets chosen ones apart? Number 6. Their aura forces self-reflection. When a controller interacts with a chosen one, an unsettling phenomenon takes place. They begin to see themselves in ways they've long avoided. This self-confrontation doesn't come from accusations or direct exposure. Instead, the chosen one's unwavering authenticity acts as a mirror, reflecting truths the controller has worked hard to bury. It's not intentional. It's simply the natural impact of the chosen one's presence, which is grounded in alignment, clarity, and unshakable integrity. Chosen ones carry an energy that is both rare and intimidating. Their presence doesn't yield to manipulation or accommodate falsehoods. This uncompromising honesty creates a space where deception, even unspoken, begins to unravel. Controllers, accustomed to operating behind carefully constructed facades, find their masks slipping in the presence of such authenticity. It's as if the chosen one's energy shifts the atmosphere, making truth unavoidable. Not through confrontation, but because it is felt on a profound level. This mirrors the words of 2 Corinthians 3:18. And we all, who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory, are being transformed into his image with ever-increasing glory. In the presence of someone deeply aligned with divine truth, facades crumble, and authenticity becomes the only option. Could it be that chosen ones, by their very nature, bring others closer to their true selves, whether they're ready for it or not? For controllers, this forced self-reflection is profoundly uncomfortable. The insecurities, fears, and inadequacies they've suppressed begin to surface. The doubts they've hidden beneath layers of control and manipulation are brought into the light. While chosen ones don't intend to trigger this internal reckoning, their authenticity naturally exposes everything that isn't genuine in others. It's as though the purity of their alignment shines a spotlight on what has been kept in the shadows. This experience is both frustrating and confusing for the controller. They may leave interactions feeling uneasy, unsure why their usual tactics failed, or why they suddenly feel so vulnerable. In some cases, they might lash out, doubling down on their controlling behavior in an attempt to regain their sense of power. Yet deep down, they recognize that something has shifted. The interaction has planted a seed of self-awareness, a seed that challenges their perception of themselves and their behavior. Consider how Jesus interacted with those who sought to control or manipulate him. In John 8:7, when confronted by the Pharisees demanding judgment on the woman caught in adultery, Jesus simply said, "Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." His calm and truthful response left them disarmed, their own guilt laid bare. Similarly, chosen ones often compel others to face their own flaws, not by force, but by embodying a truth that cannot be ignored. For the controller, this interaction is a rude awakening. It stings because it reveals cracks in their armor they thought were invisible. Yet, at the same time, it presents an opportunity for transformation. By confronting these buried insecurities and falsehoods, they are given a chance to grow, if they're willing to embrace the discomfort and reflect on what has been revealed. Have you ever felt unsettled after interacting with someone whose authenticity shined a light on your own fears or doubts? Or perhaps you've been the one who unknowingly triggered this self-reflection in others. This dynamic reminds us that truth, when encountered, has the power to unsettle, but also to heal. Could it be that chosen ones are instruments of this healing, creating moments of transformation for those brave enough to face themselves? Ultimately, engaging with a chosen one leaves controllers with two choices: to confront their truths and grow, or to retreat further into their facades. Either way, the interaction is never forgotten. It's a moment of reckoning that shifts perspectives, often planting the seeds of transformation, even if they're not ready to see it yet. Number 7. Attempts to dominate turn into obsession. When someone attempts to dominate a chosen one and fails, they often find themselves trapped in a relentless mental loop, obsessively replaying the interaction. Strangely, this obsession isn't triggered by anything dramatic. The chosen one did. In fact, it's usually the opposite. The chosen one's calm, unshaken refusal to comply creates a vacuum that the controller cannot seem to escape. The less the chosen one reacts, the more the controller's need for dominance spirals into fixation. Controllers thrive on reaction. It's the fuel that powers their sense of authority. When met with resistance, they expect anger, fear, or negotiation, something they can manipulate. But when a chosen one offers none of these, refusing to engage entirely, the controller is left disarmed and powerless. This unresolved tension festers in their mind, turning what was once a calculated power play into an all-consuming obsession. They replay every word, every moment, desperately dissecting where their tactics failed. The Bible sheds light on this dynamic in Proverbs 26:4. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you yourself will be just like him. Chosen ones, guided by this wisdom, understand the futility of engaging in battles that distract from their purpose. By withholding their energy and focus, they remove the manipulator's lifeline, leaving them to wrestle with their own frustrations. The irony of this situation is that while the controller is consumed by their obsession, the chosen one has already moved on, often without a second thought. They do not waste time or energy on people or situations that don't align with their divine purpose. Their indifference is what makes the obsession all the more maddening for the controller. They crave closure, validation, or at least acknowledgement of their efforts. But the chosen one offers none of that. For the chosen, the encounter is a closed chapter. For the controller, it becomes a book they cannot stop rereading. This dynamic creates a haunting realization for the controller. Their usual tactics hold no weight against a chosen one. They become ensnared in their own need for control, replaying a battle they've already lost. It's as though they've constructed a mental prison, brick by brick, only to find themselves locked inside. The chosen one's unyielding authenticity not only disrupts the controller's plans, but also exposes the futility of their manipulative behavior. Consider how Jesus disarmed those who sought to trap him. In Luke 20:26, after being questioned about paying taxes to Caesar, his response was so wise and disarming that they were unable to trap him in what he had said there in public. And astonished by his answer, they became silent. His calm, calculated response left his accusers with no room to maneuver, forcing them into silence and self-reflection. Similarly, chosen ones leave controllers speechless, not through argument, but through an unshakable refusal to play the game. This raises an important question. Why do controllers become so fixated on chosen ones? Perhaps it's because chosen ones embody a strength and clarity that exposes the emptiness of manipulation. The controller's obsession often becomes a mirror, forcing them to confront their own insecurities and dependence on control for validation. For chosen ones, the lesson is clear. Their peace and purpose are too valuable to waste on battles that don't serve them. For controllers, the experience is a harsh but necessary awakening. Their fixation isn't about the chosen one at all. It's about the deep void within themselves that no amount of control can fill. Could this mental loop, painful as it is, be the beginning of transformation for those willing to face their own reflection? Number 8. They trigger an emotional collapse. When a controller's attempts to dominate a chosen one fail, the aftermath often manifests as an emotional collapse. Chosen ones don't just resist control, they outright reject it with a calm, unshakable resolve that speaks louder than words. This steadfast refusal dismantles the controller's carefully constructed illusion of confidence and power. Without engaging in conflict, the chosen one's mere act of standing firm unravels the very foundation of the controller's dominance. Controllers often operate from a place of deep insecurity, using manipulation, guilt-tripping, or gaslighting as tools to assert authority and mask their vulnerabilities. But when those tactics fail, when a chosen one refuses to yield, the controller is left exposed. The emotional fallout begins as frustration, escalating into a complete unraveling as they grapple with the realization that their usual methods are utterly ineffective. This moment of exposure forces them to confront their deepest fears, that their power is fragile, their confidence is hollow, and their sense of control is an illusion. The Bible reflects this dynamic in 2 Timothy 7. For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. Chosen ones rooted in divine strength embody this principle. They operate from a place of God-given courage and self-assurance, making them impervious to fear-based tactics. How could manipulation succeed against someone who draws their confidence from an unshakable source? For the controller, the collapse is both external and internal. On the surface, this may manifest as emotional outbursts, tantrums, or even silent withdrawal. Internally, however, the impact is far more profound. The chosen one's refusal to conform forces the controller to confront their own powerlessness, a truth they've likely spent years avoiding. This confrontation feels like a personal failure, a devastating blow to someone who thrives on control. They may lash out in anger, blaming the chosen one for their emotional turmoil, or spiral into self-doubt, questioning their ability to assert dominance in other areas of their life. This dynamic is eerily reminiscent of King Saul's interactions with David in the Bible. In 1 Samuel 18:12 we read, Saul was afraid of David because the Lord was with David but had departed from Saul. Despite Saul's repeated attempts to control or harm David, David's unwavering faith and composure left Saul increasingly insecure and emotionally unstable. Like Saul, modern-day controllers find themselves unraveling when faced with the unbreakable spirit of a chosen one. What's particularly striking about this emotional collapse is how one-sided it is. While the controller spirals into frustration, anger, or self-doubt, the chosen one remains steady, often unaware of the chaos they've triggered. This contrast highlights the stark difference in their sources of strength. For the controller, power is external, dependent on others' reactions and compliance. For the chosen one, strength is internal, grounded in their connection to purpose and truth. This one-sided meltdown often leaves the controller questioning not just their tactics, but their very identity. Their inability to dominate a chosen one feels like more than just a loss of control. It's an unraveling of who they believe themselves to be. They are left emotionally raw, unsettled, and haunted by the realization that their strength was never as solid as it seemed. As you reflect on this dynamic, consider this question. What happens when we build our sense of power on external validation rather than internal truth? The story of chosen ones and controllers offers a compelling answer. It reminds us that true strength cannot be coerced or manipulated. It is a reflection of one's alignment with divine purpose. For the chosen one, peace remains unshaken. For the controller, the encounter becomes a reckoning, a painful but necessary confrontation with the fragility of their control. Could this be the catalyst for true transformation, or will it merely reinforce the cycle of insecurity? Number 9. Controllers lose their social power. When a controller targets a chosen one, they unwittingly initiate a chain of events that leads to their own social downfall. Chosen ones possess a quiet but powerful ability to expose manipulation, not through accusations or dramatic actions, but simply by being who they are: authentic, unshakable, and immune to deceit. Their presence acts as a mirror, reflecting truth and making the manipulator's tactics painfully visible to everyone around them. This unintentional unmasking causes a gradual but inevitable shift in social dynamics. Those who once admired or feared the controller begin to see through their facade. What once appeared as charisma or authority is revealed as insecurity and a need for control. The chosen one doesn't need to call out the manipulator. Their calm authenticity creates a contrast so stark that others cannot help but notice. As this awareness grows, people naturally gravitate toward the chosen one's honesty and strength, leaving the controller increasingly isolated. The Bible speaks to the power of truth in Ephesians 5:13. But everything exposed by the light becomes visible, and everything that is illuminated becomes a light. The chosen one's authenticity, like light, exposes manipulation for what it is. Could it be that this quiet, steadfast commitment to truth is the greatest defense against deceit? For the controller, this shift is devastating. Their sense of power often relies on influencing and dominating group dynamics. They thrive on admiration, validation, or fear. But as their manipulative tactics are exposed, these sources of power begin to dwindle. Friends, colleagues, or allies who once supported them start pulling away, unwilling to participate in their games. Conversations that once bolstered their ego become cold or dismissive. Efforts to reclaim influence through charm or coercion often backfire, further confirming others' suspicions about their true nature. This loss of social power is particularly jarring for the controller because it strikes at the very core of their identity. They are left facing a bitter realization. Not only did their attempts to control fail, but they also cost them the relationships and influence they depended on. Proverbs 11:3 captures this perfectly. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. The duplicity of the controller is their undoing, while the chosen one's integrity continues to guide and uplift them. For the chosen one, this social shift isn't something they seek or celebrate. They are not interested in humiliating or isolating anyone. They are simply committed to living in truth. Yet, truth has a way of exposing everything in its presence. The chosen one's refusal to play along with manipulation creates a ripple effect, showing others that they too can reject control and align themselves with authenticity. This dynamic raises a question worth pondering. How often do we allow ourselves to be influenced by appearances or authority without questioning their foundation? The story of the chosen one and the controller serves as a reminder that true power lies in authenticity, not manipulation. Those who operate from a place of truth naturally attract others, while those who thrive on deceit eventually find themselves isolated. In the end, the controller's failed attempts to dominate highlight a deeper truth. Power gained through manipulation is fleeting, while strength rooted in integrity endures. The chosen one remains steadfast, unshaken by the chaos around them. The controller, however, is left to face the consequences of their actions, a diminished circle of influence, and the undeniable reality that their efforts to control not only failed, but also exposed their own vulnerabilities. Could this bitter reckoning be the first step toward genuine transformation, or will it merely reinforce their dependence on false power? Only time and self-reflection will tell. Number 10. Their presence becomes unbearable. When a controller fails to exert influence over a chosen one, an extraordinary shift occurs. The very presence of the chosen one becomes unbearable. This isn't because the chosen one is aggressive or confrontational. On the contrary, it is their calm, steadfast authenticity that creates an energy so powerful and unyielding that it naturally exposes the controller's deepest insecurities. Controllers thrive on manipulation and the ability to mold situations and people to their will. But when faced with a chosen one, they find themselves outmatched, unable to bend the chosen one's unshakable spirit. Each failed attempt to dominate only heightens the tension, creating an invisible yet undeniable barrier. This tension isn't external, it's deeply internal, forcing the controller to grapple with a truth they'd rather avoid. Their power was never real, only borrowed from the reactions they could provoke. The Bible captures this dynamic in John 3:20. Everyone who does evil hates the light and will not come into the light for fear that their deeds will be exposed. The chosen one, like a beacon of light, doesn't need to accuse or confront. Their mere presence brings clarity that unravels the controller's facade. Have you ever noticed how simply standing firm in truth can make dishonesty crumble without a word being spoken? For the controller, this growing discomfort becomes suffocating. Their usual tactics, manipulation, intimidation, or coercion, fail to penetrate the chosen one's energy. Instead of asserting dominance, they feel increasingly diminished, as though they are being stripped of the illusions that once gave them power. It's like standing in a room flooded with unrelenting light, where every flaw and insecurity is laid bare. This exposure creates a sense of unease so profound that the controller may begin to feel physically uncomfortable, as though they're being scrutinized without the shield of their usual defenses. Where they once felt powerful, they now feel small, outmatched, and vulnerable. This tension becomes an insurmountable obstacle, and in many cases, the controller has no choice but to retreat. The chosen one doesn't need to engage in conflict or push them away. The controller is driven to leave by their own inability to coexist in the same space as the chosen one's truth. The dissonance between the controller's need for dominance and the chosen one's refusal to yield becomes too great to bear. This quiet collapse is both humbling and inescapable. The controller might leave the situation drained, their confidence eroded, and their strategies exposed for what they truly are, empty attempts at control. What's remarkable is that the chosen one achieves this without lifting a finger. Their power lies not in action, but in being. Their unwavering authenticity and alignment with a higher truth create an environment where manipulation cannot thrive. Proverbs 28:1 offers insight into this phenomenon. The wicked flee, though no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. The chosen one's boldness, rooted in righteousness, doesn't chase or confront. It simply exists, and that existence alone is enough to send manipulators running. Could this be the reason chosen ones often find themselves standing alone? Not because they are isolated, but because their light is too pure for some to endure. For the controller, this experience is deeply unsettling. They are left with a choice: to confront the dissonance within themselves, or to retreat further into their patterns of control. The space between them and the chosen one becomes a battlefield of their own making, charged with unspoken truths they cannot escape. And for the chosen one, it's just another testament to the strength that comes from walking in alignment with purpose and truth. This raises a profound question. What happens when we refuse to compromise our authenticity, even in the face of those who seek to dominate us? The story of the chosen one and the controller serves as a reminder that true power is not loud or aggressive. It is steady, quiet, and immovable. And for those who rely on control, it is a force they simply cannot endure. Number 11. A sudden shift in public perception. When someone tries to control a chosen one, the results often go far beyond a simple failed power play. There's an almost immediate shift in the way others perceive the controller, as if the universe itself has a hand in exposing the imbalance. People, whether they realize it consciously or not, can sense when something's off. They can feel the tension, the manipulation, and the unfairness of the situation. And even if no direct confrontation or words are exchanged, the scales tip in favor of the chosen one, often without explanation. It's like an invisible force that defies logic or reason. The controller may have once been seen as charismatic, powerful, or influential, but now people are beginning to notice the cracks in the facade. There's something about their actions that doesn't sit right. Maybe it's their desperate attempts to maintain control, or the way they react to being challenged by the chosen one. Whatever the case, the perception begins to shift subtly but undeniably. What's fascinating is that the chosen one doesn't need to fight back or even speak out to make this shift happen. Their authenticity and strength speak volumes without uttering a word, and this quiet, unshakable presence creates a natural alliance with those around them. It's almost as if the energy surrounding the chosen one is contagious, uplifting their reputation by default, while the controller's image begins to crack. People may start to distance themselves, and those who once sided with the controller might suddenly find themselves more inclined to support the chosen one. This shift is like a cosmic vindication. The controller is left stunned, unable to stop the narrative from changing as the universe's inherent balance rights itself. In the end, the chosen one stands tall and steady, their reputation only growing stronger, while the controller watches helplessly as their own reputation crumbles. Number 12. Controllers leave, feeling outmatched and inferior. When a controller interacts with a chosen one, they often walk away feeling a profound sense of inferiority, even if they can't quite put their finger on why. It's not about anything the chosen one said or did directly. There's no grand confrontation or dramatic moment. It's simply the way the chosen one carries themselves, with an unwavering sense of self and an independence that the controller can't touch. This quiet, unshakable strength stands in stark contrast to the controller's own insecurities and need for power. The chosen one vibrates at a frequency that most controllers can't even comprehend, let alone match. It's as if their presence serves as a mirror, reflecting back everything the controller lacks: true inner peace, self-sufficiency, and the freedom that comes from not needing to manipulate or control others to feel validated. The controller, in their desperate pursuit of dominance, realizes, perhaps for the first time, just how little of their own power is rooted in true authenticity. They have spent so much time building facades, manipulating circumstances, and clinging to their perceived control, only to face the undeniable truth that they've never experienced the kind of inner strength the Chosen One embodies so effortlessly. This realization doesn't sit well with them. It's uncomfortable, humbling, and for some, outright humiliating. The very qualities they thought they were in control of, power, influence, and self-assuredness, feel hollow and fragile when placed next to the Chosen One's raw, undisturbed presence. As a result, the controller is left feeling small, their need for control exposed as a mask for their own insecurities. They may leave the interaction, but they can't escape the nagging feeling that they were outmatched in a way they never anticipated, by someone who doesn't need to dominate to shine. In the end, the Chosen One's greatest power lies not in confrontation, but in their ability to exist unapologetically in their truth. When controllers attempt to dominate, manipulate, or break them, they quickly learn that the Chosen One's strength isn't something that can be seized or controlled. It's an innate force, an energy that doesn't require validation from others, doesn't need to impose itself, and yet somehow makes everything else around it shift. Controllers find themselves exposed, isolated, and in some cases, broken by their attempts to impose their will. The Chosen One doesn't play by the rules of the world that those in control cling to. They rise above them, leaving everyone around them to reckon with their own limitations. For those who seek to control, this is a rude awakening. They leave interactions feeling smaller, less powerful, and stripped of the influence they once thought they had. The irony is that the Chosen One never sets out to prove anything. They simply are, and in that being, they force the world to recalibrate. They don't need to fight back or challenge anyone because their very presence does all the work. In the end, the real power doesn't come from control. It comes from living with an authenticity so strong that it naturally shifts the energies around you. The Chosen One doesn't need to prove their worth. They just exist. And in doing so, they remind us all of what true power really looks like. It's quiet, it's grounded, and it's unstoppable. As one of God's chosen ones, you carry a light that cannot be dimmed, a purpose that cannot be shaken. The reactions of those who try to control you often reveal their own struggles, insecurities, and misunderstandings of God's plan for your life. Remember, their attempts to control or manipulate cannot alter the divine path God has set before you. Stay strong, stay faithful, and continue walking boldly in His truth, for He is your protector and guide. If this message has blessed you, consider supporting the channel through Super Thanks. Your generosity helps us reach more souls with God's Word. Whether you choose to donate or not, we are deeply grateful for your time and presence here. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs this encouragement today. Don't forget to leave a comment and let us know how this message has inspired you. May God bless you abundantly, protect your journey, and fill your life with peace, joy, and purpose. Go forth in faith and trust that His plans for you are greater than anything this world can offer.